Hello sweet team, welcome back to my channel. This is Sweet Adjeley. I am so excited to be with you all today, and I hope everyone is doing wonderfully well. As you can see, sweet eating things in Yanoye Sweet Adjeley's kitchen. Yes. Now today I'm sharing this super delicious chicken stew recipe with you all, and you are going to love it. Now if you're new to my channel, join the sweet team by clicking on that subscribe button right now. While you're at it, hit that bell and hit all notifications so you'll be among the first to be notified when I upload a video. Let's get started. I'm going to begin by steaming my chicken with some rosemary, aniseed, onion, garlic, Scotch bonnet pepper, and some ginger. I'll add my garlic and Scotch bonnet pepper into my blender. I'll also cut up my ginger and also onion and add that as well, not forgetting my spices. Once everything goes in the blender, I'll add enough water to blend it until it is nice and smooth, and we will be using that to season and steam our chicken. I usually get my chicken from the poultry farm, but my Mama B bought this one for me. Shout out to you, Mama B. This is what your chicken is doing. Oh my goodness, I love hard chicken. When you go to the poultry farm, ask for hard chicken, or at times you can find it in a supermarket and they write hand on it. Okay, so now that everything is nicely blended, I'll pour it over my chicken, rinse out the blender, and add that water. To this, I'll add some chicken seasoning and some salt to taste. You may add whatever type of seasoning that you prefer. Cover it up and bring it to a boil. Once it boils beautifully, I'm just going to go ahead and give it a very good stir to ensure that my seasoning and spices have gone everywhere for every part of the chicken to be well seasoned. I'll then cook it on medium heat until my chicken is nice and tender. All right, y'all, just look at our chicken. It is looking absolutely delicious. It's very nice, it's tender, and it's very flavorful. So I'm just going to go ahead and get it all out of the stock because I hate transferring from stock to oil. And here we go. I've taken everything out, so I'm going to go ahead and fry it until it's nice and golden brown.
Adiana to look bonon again. Gambling butter, gambling fish. And sweet adjeley. Mbao, maybe okona. Continental food, madam. Ow, food, madam. International food captain. We'll show you how to make pizza, jollof, banku and okra soup, sushi and pastries. All this and more. Sweet adjeley. Go go, go go, gaga go. Sweet adjeley. Go go, go go, gaga go. Sweet adjeley.
Look at our gorgeous chicken. So I'll set this aside and I'll begin with the stew. So I'm just going to slice up some onions and we will begin the stew with it. And do not get rid of the oil that you use to fry your chicken because we will be using that to make the stew. It is very flavorful. So I'll just add the sliced up onions into the oil and I'm going to cook this for about 5 minutes. Next, I'll be blending my Scotch bonnet pepper with some onions, and I'll also be adding one secret ingredient. Yes, this is the thicker part from me straining my stock. I'm just going to add that to my onion and Scotch bonnet pepper. And this is especially important if you do not like to use stock cubes. This will take your stew to the next level. I'm going to be adding some rosemary to my onions and oil, and this will make your chicken stew taste really good. For some reason, rosemary pairs very well with chicken. Now you can use bay leaves as well. Okay, so I'm just going to let this fry for about a minute, then I'll add in my blended onion, Scotch bonnet pepper, and the stock. Remember the thicker part of the stock? Yes. So I'll let this fry for a good 5 minutes. Jigbe no shimin koni oflo ango. Yes, yo. Now let me quickly take you through the rest of my ingredients. I have my chicken stock right here that I've strained beautifully. I have some of my homemade tomato sauce, and I'll be using some fresh tomatoes for this recipe. So all I'm going to do now is to cut up my tomatoes, de-seed it, and I'm going to put the seed through a strainer just to get the juice out. I don't want to use the seed, but it is not a big deal. It was just a choice today. You can go right ahead and blend everything with the seed. I'm doing this because this is how I learned how to cook. We usually take the seeds out, but because of blenders these days, we're able to blend everything, and it's quite amazing. Now you can add more pepper if you like, but the Scotch bonnet pepper that I'm using is super hot, and I don't want to make this stew too hot. I just want it to be perfect. That way everybody will be able to enjoy it. Now let's check on our onions, and it has fried beautifully. It's been frying for about 8 minutes now, and you can see it almost separating, and that is exactly what you want. This will ensure that your stew will be super delicious. So I give it a good stir, and as you can see, it is not burning at all. So next I'll add in my tomato sauce and my blended tomatoes. I'll also go ahead and rinse out my blender and add that water, and then I'll cook this until the tomatoes loses its sour taste. All right, and we're going to be cooking this on medium heat. You do not want to cook this on high heat. You don't want your stew to burn, so we'll be keeping an eye on it, stirring periodically until oil begins to settle on top of it, and also until our tomatoes, like I said, loses its sour taste. Meanwhile, I'll be skimming the oil off my stock. This is totally optional, but I love to do this. I don't like cooking with this oil.
Continental food, madam. Food, madam. International food captain. Who show you how to make pizza, jollof, banku and okra soup, sushi and pastries. All this and more. Sweet Adjeley. Sweet Adjeley.
Now let's check on our stew, and as you can see, it is simmering beautifully. The oil have begun settling on top of it. I'm going to give it a quick stir. Oh my goodness, the stew is not even done, and the whole house is on fire. Okay. So at this point, I'll add in my chicken stock. I'll give it a good stir, and I'll continue cooking this on medium heat, and we're going to cook this until oil begins to settle on top one more time. Okay, my stew have been cooking for a good 20 minutes now, and you can see the yellowish ring around the bubbles. This tells you your stew is not done. Somebody sent a comment wanting to know, how do you know when your stew is done? As long as you have those yellowish rings around your bubbles, it is not done. Okay, at this point I'm going to season it with a bit of my anise powder and also some thyme. that is it. Oh my goodness, these two combinations took the stew to another level. I'll give it a good stir, and now I'll be simmering it on medium low. Okay, stirring periodically, and I'll cook this for just about 8 to 10 minutes. We're back, and our stew is looking good, but you can still see the yellowish ring. It's almost done, so I'm going to finish it up with some curry powder. Never add your curry powder in the beginning. Add it at the last moment. So I give it a very quick stir, and now it is time for our chicken to also go in. Did you forget about our chicken? No, that is the star of the show. I'll just stir everything together, and I'll allow this to simmer for a good 15 minutes. And as you can see, I didn't add any more salt, because at this point, once you add your chicken, some of the flavor will go into your stew, making it perfect. Now, as you can see, the bubbles no longer have the yellowish rings around it. So this tells me my stew is done. This way your stew does not spoil quickly or easily. So we have a perfectly done chicken stew. You can enjoy this in so many ways, with rice, with yam, potato, plantain, you name it. This stew pairs wonderfully with anything that you like. Always remember to skim off any excess oil. Okay, you do not need it. It helps you get a tasty and better stew, but you don't need it. I'll be enjoying it with some potatoes today. Oh my goodness, this was absolutely delicious. Everybody loved it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give your girl a thumbs up. Thank you for that. Share and subscribe to my channel. Yes, please be sure to share this on your social media platforms. Share with family and friends. If you're a new subscriber, welcome to my channel. This is Sweet Adjeley. Thank you so much for subscribing. And to the Sweet team, y'all know I love you. Until I see you in my next video, stay safe, keep loving each other, and remember that the love of God and family is life's greatest blessing. And guys, ke onamini ochemi sweet mahabotu. Bye y'all.
Sweet Adjeley.